Yes, and welcome to another video. I'm Lewis. Above me is Jordan. A bit of a weird one here. So I've gone on Twitter before, City Extra Bro. Sky Sports News are saying that Southampton are planning a raid on Manchester City for Liam Delap and James McAtee, both on loans until the end of the season. And then obviously, you know, if they stay there and do well, then who knows what will happen after that. But yeah, we thought, we don't normally talk about academy too much on the channel, but we thought we're going to have to talk about this one because obviously these are two star players in our academy. And before we get into it, guys, going to set a like target of 1,000 likes, so please smash a thumbs up on the video if you do enjoy it. Subscribe to the channel as well if you're new, and hit that notification bell button so you don't miss any of our videos. Massive shout out to the guys at Manscaped, guys. If you've got a hairy ball sack or you know someone who does, and they're not sorting it out, then head over to manscaped.com and pick yourself up the performance package, and in that you'll get this, which is the Lawnmower 4.0. It's been specifically designed to shave your ball sack. I'm a user of the Lawnmower, bro. Are you a user, bro?
Yes,
are you a hairy guy, bro?
I'm a proud user, bro. A proud user. No hairs on this body.
Okay.
Besides this, that needs a shave.
But yeah, it's got skin safe technology to help reduce all those nicks and cuts on your balls. It's waterproof, wireless charging, mega long battery, and it's also got a torch on there as well for that precision. Manscaped as well in the performance package, guys. As well as you get that, you get the you get this, which is the ball deodorant. You get this as well, which smells proper nice, which is the ball toner. You might see me sometimes just spray it randomly in the video or in the stream because it actually does smell proper nice. And you get the weed whacker, which you can use if you've got like a hairy nose or a hairy ear as well. You get all that with our discount code extra20. You get 20% off and free shipping at checkout. Massive shout out to them. Right, okay, you know what, bro? I changed my mind on Liam Delap. I kind of wanted him to play for us, and I wanted him to be part of the first team. However, it's clear that that's not going to happen. I know he's had his injuries, and he's been injured a lot this season, and that's why he's not featured. But a couple of months ago, I went to watch the EDS, or the under 18s or whatever it was, play against Rotherham. And in that game, he played against full-grown adults rather than playing against 16, 17, 18, 19-year-olds, whatever he plays against week in, week out. And I think he struggled. Now, I don't think he was fully fit, but I do think he struggled. And the reason that I think he struggled is because when he's playing in these academy games, bro, you got to understand, the guy's bigger than everyone. He's stronger than everyone. He's just barging past people for fun and scoring goals. When he played against Rotherham, and this is based on only one game, so maybe it is a little bit of an overreaction, I think he struggled a little bit. He struggled a little bit with the physicality. Why? Probably because he's not used to playing against fully grown adults. In my opinion, I've now changed my mind. I think for him, I think a loan move would not be a bad idea, bro. I think he needs to play against adults, and I think he needs to understand that he can't just barge past people all the time, and that he needs to sort of adapt his game when he's playing against first teamers.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I do see what you're saying, and I'm with you. I'm not against loan on the basis that it doesn't seem like he's getting any joy at City. He's not gonna. It just seems to be that we're not going to get a look. And I fully believe that we're going to go sign a top striker, whether probably not in January, more like in summer. So I think we'll go get a striker in summer, which will only limit his chances yet again. And especially when we play false nine so much, that'll probably be our backup. If we're not playing a striker, as opposed to having a second striker that'll go in there. I think obviously if we have a striker, he's out, we're going to play Phil Foden there. You're going to obviously we'll alternate like that rather than having Liam Delap there. So I think a low move would be a good move for him personally. Do you know what I mean? There's been rumours about Stoke and stuff like that in the past, and obviously now Southampton are circling around it. On the whole physicality thing, I know, I see what you're saying, and I do think, I imagine that will be how it is. You've seen this more than I've seen it. But when he did play that game for us, was it Bournemouth? When he played against Bournemouth, he did look decent, and that was obviously playing against like actual Premier League footballers there. You're not playing against like, do you know what I mean? And he did look decent. He used his strength quite well there, but I think he needs to play more games like that. He needs to play more games like that, get more of them kind of games under his belt, so he knows how to play in the Premier League against this. We can't rely on Liam Delap as our first team striker. Do you know what I mean? Just out of nowhere, just go, you're our striker. Do you know what I mean? Because I don't think it'll work so well. It's throwing someone in the deep end and he might sink.
That's it. I'm not saying that he can't play against adults and it'll be crap in the Premier League. I'm not saying that. And I'm sure he'd do very well. I'm sure he'd score goals. However, I think he needs to now. I think he's at that point in his career where he needs to be playing week in, week out against full-grown adults. You know what I mean? Rather than playing a couple of games in the academy, a couple of games in the Premier League, and when he plays in the Premier, he's probably getting 10, 15 minutes. I don't think that's good for him. I think we all know that he knows where the back of the net is. We all know he's a good finisher, he's a good header, he can hold the ball up, you know what I mean, etc, etc, etc. We all know that, you know what I mean? You don't have to be going to every single academy match to know that Liam Delap can score goals. What we now need to see is that next line in his development. How does he go from this level up to this level? Well, you're not just going to go straight up. He's going to have to find that nice trajectory. Now, over the last couple of years, there has been a chance for that trajectory to be at City. There has been a chance. Why? Because we've not had a striker. Unfortunately, and quite frustratingly, Pep Guardiola has refused to play him in games where he probably should have featured, if not for the full 90 minutes, maybe for like 20 minutes at the end of the game or something. And he's not been given that opportunity. And for that, I am kind of disappointed at my club and at Pep for that. However, it is what it is. You know what I mean? I'm not going to go protesting at Pep Guardiola. You know what I mean? I'm going to go to his house and be like, what are you doing? Like, it is what it is. Pep's obviously gone with the teams that he has, and it's worked out well. Now, if Pep's not willing to give him the game time that he needs, then I do think that the best option for Liam Delap, in my view, is a loan move. 6 months. I don't think we need to be talking like 2-year loan moves. Loan him out now for 6 months and see how we can get on with it. I know he's had his injury problems this year, and that is something that he needs to focus on. But I think maybe a loan move isn't a bad idea, and I think that Southampton's a good football. They try and do things in the right way. And yeah, that could be a good move, bro. You know, I don't know.
They're in the Premier League as well, and Premier League side. That is what I want. I want him to be playing against sides like Premier League sides, because more often than not, obviously if he was to play for City, that's who most be playing against. So I want him to get that experience in Premier League sides, and with Southampton being a Premier League team, that fits the bill for me. The only thing that with both of these loan deals, the McAtee, obviously I really don't want that to happen, but the McAtee thing and the Delap thing, for them to both go on loan would mean, for me, they have to play. There's so many times where you see players go out on loan and they just rot on the bench kind of thing. There's no point in that, because I'm not asked about them training with that team. If they're not going to play, they may as well train at City, surrounded by all these quality players. Like Phil Foden, he stayed at City, he's surrounded by quality players, and he's become like a sponge, and just he's got like, do you know what I mean? He's got techniques from like De Bruyne, Silva, and stuff like that. He's kind of like sponge all that information, and you see that in the way that he plays. And I don't want, you know what I mean? So they may as well stay in that situation. And that's why, if they are going to go on loan, they have to play football matches.
Well, that's a fair point. I mean, let's move on to James McAtee then. What's your thoughts on him, bro? You know what I mean? It's slightly different to Delap. Funny enough, in that game that I watched him, I thought, even though we got beat 5-0, he was probably the best player on the pitch. For me, with James McAtee, I can see this going either way. I don't really have a preference, you know, whether or not he stays or he goes. Now, some people would just look at the Foden thing and go, well, it worked out for Foden, so do the same thing with James McAtee. I think that's kind of, tunnel vision. You know what I mean? What works for one person might not work for another player. I think it could work, and I think it probably would work for him. However, what I'm seeing from James McAtee right now is that he's way too good for the academy games. He's always the best player on the pitch. Him and Cole Palmer are just tearing it apart. And I just think to myself, and Cole Palmer's different, by the way, because he's clearly already in the plans.
He's in the plans.
He's getting minutes, and I think he's already gone through the
trajectory.
He's the next
to break through.
He's the next to break through. I think with James McAtee, the problem for him is there's too many players in that midfield position for him to get games. You know what I mean? So, for example, if at the moment we're playing Kevin De Bruyne and Bernardo Silva, one of them's out, Gundogan comes in. One of them comes out, Foden might drop in there. He drops out, Grealish might drop in there. He drops out, Cole Palmer might drop in there. You know what I mean? There's too many players at the moment. So for me, with James McAtee, I don't really have a preference, you know what I mean? And some might say that it might actually be a smart move for him to go on loan. Now, the problem is, with this, guys, if he goes on loan and does well, he gets a taste of first-team football, will he then want to leave? You know what I mean? And that's the problem that you're going to face with this. You know what I mean? It's always hard balancing act with these academy players. I don't really have a preference on James McAtee, bro, whether he goes or whether he stays.
Yeah, I feel like I'm in the same boat. The more I hear you speak about that kind of stuff, I just want, because of how, like, I mean, he has a really big future ahead of him, and I just hope, I want him to stay in it, because as much as before when he was at the Foden situation, where it is tunnel vision, saying that what works for Foden will work for James McAtee. However, as I just want that to work for him, because I want him to break through. I want him to be sick. I mean, I want him to be surrounded by sick players at City so we can learn loads of stuff from him, and then, like, do you know what I mean? But like I say, that doesn't, just because they stay at the club doesn't mean they're going to get game time. And we're absolutely stacked in the midfield. I do think that Grealish will take a step into their midfield at some point in his career at City. I feel like when we get a striker, Foden will naturally go back to left wing, and then Grealish will probably have more time in the middle of the pitch rather than as a left winger. So then that just makes it even harder for James McAtee to come into the team. So I'm with you on the 50-50 side of things. However, I'm swaying towards him staying, but I understand why he would go out on loan somewhere. But like I say, he gets to taste first team football, and he's not going to come back and sit on the bench or, like, do you know what I mean, be in the reserves again. He's going to be playing, do you know what I mean, competitive football, do you know what I mean, at the top level. So that's the issue. That's the issue with these players. When they get so good, it's hard to keep them chained up.
Yeah, ultimately, if we go back to the start of the video, what this whole video is about is Southampton are looking at taking both of these players off our hands on a loan deal. I'd be happy with that, so long as they played football.
If they play football in the Premier League, I'm buzzing.
Yeah, and they don't have to play every match, but so long as they play football, like you said, bro, if they're not going to play football, I'd rather them be training with players like Jack Grealish, with Phil Foden, with Kevin De Bruyne, rather than players like Romeo. You know what I mean? Nah, not about that.
Yeah.
So, guys, you'll have to let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. I think, to be honest, we'll get a lot of different opinions on whether or not the players should go out on loan, or whether they should stay, or whether we should sell them and maybe insert a buyback clause in there. So I think we'll get different opinions. So let us know your thoughts in the comment section below, guys. Go check out manscaped.com, guys. If you do have a hairy ball sack, did you know that 85% of partners prefer a guy with a smooth, shaved sort of area? You know what I mean?
Yeah, the pitch, innit? Keep it clean.
That's it, bro. So, guys, hope you've enjoyed the video. Please smash a like on it. Subscribe to the channel if you're new, and we'll see you in the next one. See you in a bit.